Okay, so for this video, I just wanted to talk about a little bit, like a brief synopsis about functions. So basically, a function is in Python is a block of reusable code that we use to perform specific tasks. So I got over here, um, right here. Yep, right over here, I put just the basic syntax and different things required of just with defining a function. Just erase that real quick. Get that out of here. All right, so this one right here, def. So this keyword tells Python that you're defining a function. And then this is the name you give to your function. You use this name whenever you want to call a function. I'll have some examples ahead. Uh, and then you have your parameters right here. Excuse me. So you got your parameters right here. And these are the inputs to your functions. So like your arguments and things like that. You can, there's not a limit of the number of parameters that you can have, and they're separated by commas. Then you have like your doc strings over here. And the doc string, is just a description of what the function does. It's optional. It's considered good practice to include doc strings in your functions, especially if other people will be using them. And then you have your code right here. And this is the body of your function where you write the code that your function will execute when it's called. So this is like some of your logic over here, you know, about what your function is going to do. And then you have your return statement right here. And this is used to exit a function and go back to the place from where it is called. And it can contain an expression which gets evaluated and its value is returned. So basically, when you use the return statement, it's used to exit a function and used to go back to the place and where it's called. So this is an example right here. As you can see, we have our def, right there, where this the keyword is used to define the function, and then the function name right over here. I don't know why it's not working. There we go. Get your function name right over here. And then in the function name, which is greet, because this function I'm using to greet people. This is like, hey, like say hello. I have a variable argument right in here in the parameters input in my function. And then I have my doc strings. And this doc string right here, again, is a description of what the function does. If it's optional, but it's definitely good practice again to include. And as you see, I included it for this one where it says this function greets the person passed in as a parameter. So it's telling you what this function is doing. It's giving you the description of this function. So we're greeting. This is a greet function. I want to greet someone. I defined it. I put the def, which is defining the function. I have the function name. I have the argument or in the parameter, and this name is it's a variable. And I have my doc screen describing it. Then I have the return. So like, I have an F string over here where it says hello and the name variable. How are you today? Showing how it's gonna greet. So this is what it should return. So I want to try to execute this function. So let's see. I believe this should work. Greet and we put a mecha. That's the name that I'm using. And oh, seems to be something wrong. Let me see. Name Emeka is not defined. Trace back greet Emeka. Okay, so let me add a string right here. Let me add these quotes to make it a string. See if it works. All right, it works. So, hello, Emeka. How are you today? So, this Emeka is basically the name. So it's pretty much like name equals Emeka. So the Emeka is stored into it, or I could change it and put Janice, and it says, "Hello, Janice. How are you today?" So I'm inputting the arguments into that parameter where this is the name is a variable. Okay, let's go to another one. Okay, so I want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. So I define the function. I have a function name. I have the parameter, and in that parameter, my argument is the Celsius. And then I have my doc screen describing the function. So this function converts temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And then I tell you what my parameters are, which is a Celsius, and it's either integer or float. So I won't be able to use a string. The temperature, and it's telling you the Celsius is the temperature in Celsius, and it's telling you what it's going to return right here, which is going to be integer or float. So it's going to be returned in Fahrenheit. So I mean, it's that one. It's returning exits, but it's returning into itself, which is the convert to Fahrenheit. So it's returning into Fahrenheit. And then here's my code. Here's my logic of the code right here, where it says Fahrenheit equals, and then I have Celsius times 9/5 plus 32. And I just want to execute this code. And then when you execute it, it's like I'm calling the code itself or the function name again, like I did before. Convert. Yep, convert to Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to put a number. 60. All right. So 60 degrees Celsius is equal to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So you see the argument, the variable Celsius. So 60 degrees Celsius. So this is where 60 is substituted for the Celsius. Degrees Celsius is equal to the Fahrenheit, which this Fahrenheit variable in the logic, which is gives you the formula Celsius times 9/5 then plus 32. So this is just telling you that this 60 degrees Celsius is equal to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is the Fahrenheit variable right here. So we have our Fahrenheit variable, which has a formula of what Celsius converts it to. And then with my Celsius, I have the 60 in here, as you can see in the parameter. And I execute the function using the function name, parentheses, and whatever argument is inside the parameter. And you have to have it there. It's required, as you can see, because Celsius is in here. Okay, another one. So this is a function. As you can see, we define the function. We have our function name. We have parameters. So you see that as we talked about earlier, you can have any numbers of parameters and they're separated by commas. Right here, we're separating these parameters with a comma. Right there, there's a comma. So length and width. Those are our two parameters. And the docstring describing the function. And let's see what it's saying. This function calculates the area of a rectangle. Parameters. The length. So it's telling you what are the parameters, which is in the length of the rectangle, and the width of the rectangle, and letting us know in our requirements that for the length it has to be an integer or a float, and for the width it has to be an integer or a float. And what it returns, what we are returning, is the area of the rectangle. So right here it says return the area. This returning the area is returning the calculation of the area, what it leads up to. And this print function is letting us see what's actually happening. So we use the F string, and it says the area of the rectangle is, and then we have the area. So the area of the rectangle is going to be whatever we calculate in this area, which is length times width, which we actually have a variable right here, which is area equals length times width. So this is a variable. So this F string saying the area of the rectangle is whatever that variable calculates square units, and we return the area. So I already wrote down the name of the function, and then I just put some I put 3 for the length and 2 for the width, and pretty much it's going to be 3 times 2 for the area, and this is what it's doing. And when I execute this, it should be returning the area, and it should be printing this out. The area of the rectangle is, it should say 6 square units. Let's see if it says that. The area of the rectangle is 6 square units. Yes. And let me actually try to just type one function up real quick. So I'm just going to do like a simplified version of a function that calculates whether a basketball shot was successful or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm importing random because I want to generate some random numbers. So I import random. So I'm naming my function to basketball. And then I have my parameter, and I'm putting my argument, which is the player accuracy. So this will be required when it's executing. Yeah, I'm not gonna do the doc strings. For this one. So let me just do a quick note though. So this one is randomly deciding if the shot. This one is randomly deciding if the shot is successful based on the player's accuracy. just tap that real quick. Variable right here for the shot result. So I'm creating a variable that's indicating if the shot is successful based on the player's accuracy. This is why I use the random, because I want to generate these random numbers here. So, so, if the so right now I have like executing this where it's executing random numbers, and I have my compare comparison operator where it's less than the player accuracy, and I'm gonna create what is it, an if, a conditional statement, an if else statement. So if shot result, basically what I'm putting is, yeah. So basically, if the shot result is if the random number is less than the player accuracy, I'm gonna have it print shot made and return successful. If it's opposite, I'm gonna have an else statement where it's print shot missed, return missed. Let me write that down so you can visually see it. Shot made. We want to get excited, hyped for it right there. Then we return, turn it into a string. Successful. Else. Then this is a shot missed. So we got all that down. And then finish that. I want to execute it. I'm going to create a variable. Shoot result. Or I'm executing function name right here. And then remember the parentheses, and I'm going to add the parameter. I'm going to put it between like a 0 to 1, make it 75% accuracy. So that random number will be compared to that 75% accuracy. And then let's see what happens. So the shot result is the random number comparing. So if it's less than prayer accuracy, we're having like the shot made, shot missed. So again, so we have this random. I imported the random to generate a random number where the shot result is pretty much saying if the random number is less than the player accuracy, then the shot result will be shot made. So the random number over here has to be less than 75%, but I put 0.75 in order for the shot to be made. And if it's greater than that, that means then the shot was missed. And it randomly generates the number. Right here it says shot missed. So we know that a shot missed. That means that the random number was greater than the player accuracy. That means right here the random number was actually less than the player accuracy, less than 75.75 or 75%. Again, shot made, shot made, shot made, shot made, shot made. Ooh, shot missed. So again, remember, we use functions as a block of reusable code to perform specific tasks. And as you can see, we use a specific task to calculate area, a specific task to convert to Fahrenheit, a specific task to shoot basketball, as we're checking shot results. We have our function name, greet, convert to Fahrenheit, calculate area, shoot basketball. We have doc strings describing the function. And we have our logic, our code, where it's giving us the formula of the Fahrenheit, things of that nature. And then we have the return statement, which is used to exit a function and go back to the place from where it's called. So we're exiting the function when we return this Fahrenheit, but we're going back to where it's called, which is convert to Fahrenheit. So once it's returned, we're returning when it's converted to Fahrenheit. which is this formula right here, which is this function itself. And I mean, that's just a little bit of functions.